Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in today for another recording in my series ETA 56 Days. This is part of my Your True Power coaching blog. So, this blog is about finding your inner strength. It's about finding, practicing, and honing tools that will help you to face any challenge in your life. And my current challenge is labor. As of today, I've got 55 days to go. 55 days to mentally and physically prepare. And while collecting all these empowering tools for myself, I also get to share them with you, hoping that these tools will be just as valuable for you as they have been and will be for me. So today, my challenge or contrast was allergies. I woke up with big puffy eyes and just stuffy nose and just not, physically feeling very well. And, of course, I was annoyed. And then I was like, well, hey, this is really good practice for labor because guess what? During labor, I'm going to be in some pain. I'm going to have, some physical ailments that are not going to feel so good. And the thing is, a lot of times when we don't feel well physically, it's really hard to feel well emotionally. The two kind of tend to go hand in hand. But like I said, my biggest thing about labor is I can't let the way that I'm feeling physically really impact how I'm feeling emotionally or mentally. My mental game. The mental game is so important. If you talk to any athlete, right now it's preliminaries for the Winter Olympics. It's so much fun, but you also get the stories and realize how much these athletes have to prep mentally for what they're going to do because there are always going to be challenges, especially with their bodies. Or when you hear of any of these stories of recovering athletes, recovering from an injury, coming back from an injury, you will hear that it's really tough, that you have to be mentally tough in order to really get well physically again. So it is important to kind of separate the two, to don't just let your emotions follow right along with, oh, I feel like crap, so I'm just going to be, down in the dumps. One of my favorite authors who has written so much on emotions and the physical body is Louise Hay. She has a great body of work. I would definitely suggest you look into it. She's really great. And yet, the tool that I want to share with you today is actually from another one of my favorite author called Esther Hicks, and she does a body of work from Abraham-Hicks. And today we'll talk about the emotional guidance scale, which is taken from one of her books called Ask and It Is Given. I want to say that's the right book. She has written so many. I will double check that and then put the link down below. But it's definitely out of one of her books, and she talks a lot about it. So it's the emotional guidance scale, and it's about helping you to move emotionally from where you are to where you want to go. So yesterday on our video, we talked about deliberately choosing a preferred emotion. What are the emotions that you want to feel, during the day, during your week? However, maybe you've noticed, maybe you've not noticed, when you're in a good mood, it's kind of easy to activate those good feeling emotions. But if you're kind of down in the dumps, you're having a rough day, it's kind of hard sometimes to reach for joy, to reach for bliss, to reach for creativity, to reach for, these high feeling emotions that we really want. Sometimes they're not so accessible to us. So this emotional guidance scale is really great about kind of taking you step by step by step to where you want to go. That way you don't have to do, what we sometimes call a quantum leap. You can just take it one step at a time. So I would say let's just jump right into it. I'm going to have a copy of this emotional guidance scale, and basically it's just a list of 22 emotions, and they're going from the, best feeling, highest emotion, which is joy, knowing, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. That's kind of the top of just ecstasy, feeling great. And then it kind of goes down, 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 through passion, enthusiasm, positive, optimism, hopefulness, contentment, and that kind of, it dips into the lower emotions, the more negative emotions, and kind of ending up towards the end of the scale with, hatred, jealousy, insecurity, unworthiness, fear, and then at the very bottom, despair, depression, powerlessness. So that's what the emotional guidance scale is. So look below. You'll see this list of 22 emotions ranging from the top, the great feeling emotion, all the way down to the not so good feeling emotions, the negative emotions. So step number 1, identify your current emotion. So make sure that you differentiate between how you feel physically and how you feel emotionally. If you have some kind of physical ailment going on at the moment, like I did today, physically I felt, headachy, stuffy, sluggish, tired, just not feeling well. And emotionally, I felt frustrated, annoyed, grouchy. So, see the difference between the two. How do I feel physically in my body? How do I feel emotionally? So, if you look at this scale and we're looking for frustration, annoyance, it's actually not listed. And that's okay. This list is really kind of arbitrary, and you can definitely tailor it to you, to yourself. So, for me, where would I put the whole name of the game is you want to move up the emotional scale. So you kind of go from start below and you kind of start up. So you want to feel better. With each tier that you're going up, you want to feel like you have relief. You feel better. So where would I put frustration and annoyance on this scale? I would say I would probably put it right above anger. So anger is at 15. So I would probably, add another little tag in there and just say, okay, this is where I would put frustration, annoyance. And another kind of indicator that that's where I would put it is because the first thoughts that kind of come to me when I think about what was I thinking about today was blame. The first kind of things that were going through my head were stupid allergies. I finally feel at home in a city, and then it has to come with these stupid allergies. Everybody suffers from allergies in this city, and it just sucks that we have to deal with all this. So it's kind of blaming some outside source for how you're feeling. So the next step is to actually look at the emotional scale. Look where we were. That was blame on 14. And you want to progressively work your way up the emotional scale. You want to find the thoughts that will get you up a next step or a step or two above, always moving up the emotional scale. So what thoughts can I think that will match the emotion that's above it? So above blame would be worry. Above that is doubt or discouragement, which was kind of the next thing that I went into because I was thinking something along the lines of, how am I supposed to get through my day, feeling like this? I have things to do, things I want to do, things I have to do. I have to get done. This is really discouraging. The next one up would be number 11, disappointment. So feelings of disappointment in my thoughts in my head sounded something like, this just totally sucks. I was counting on feeling well today and on getting some stuff done. I'm on a schedule. Every day is important. For me, definitely, I have a countdown going on. So this is very disappointing to not be on the top of my game. The next one, if you look up, would be number 10, overwhelmed. So overwhelmed, thoughts of overwhelmment usually go like, there's just too much to do. There's so much on my to-do list. Stuff has to get done. There are only so many hours in the day. I'm feeling overwhelmed, overburdened. Next one up would be, let's see, number 9, pessimism. Number 8, boredom. Those didn't quite fit for me in this instance, so I can go ahead and skip over them, go to the next one, contentment. So this would kind of be the first feeling of like a positive emotion that we're going to. So ask yourself, am I from this place that I was with my thoughts? Am I able to kind of reach that next step? And for me, that was actually possible. For me, my next thought was, I really don't have it that bad. This morning, I just have 2 massages. Then I have, a nice long break before my afternoon clients. And I love what I do. It's in an easy environment. It's dim lights. It's soft music. Really not too bad for somebody who has a sinus headache. So overall, not too bad. Then if we go ahead and skip to the next one, number 6, hopefulness. Hopefulness can sound something like, maybe I'll feel better in a little while. This headache can't last forever. This is just a reminder to slow down a little, take care of myself. There are still plenty of days left to kick ass. Maybe today is just not one of those. But that doesn't mean that it can't be a valuable day in some other way. I'm still being of service to my clients, and I can, plan in a little extra chill time for myself, some relaxed time, or just to do something that I really want to tonight. So then we're already on the step of hopefulness. That was not so hard, right? If you look at the next one up, that would be optimism. Optimism, yeehaw, we're rocking this. We're moving right along. So my thoughts of optimism sounded something like, I've dealt with allergies before. Mine really aren't so bad. They never last that long. And I can always try something like acupuncture or massaging scalp and neck or try some essential oils. They're definitely things that I can do to feel better. Next one up, let's go ahead and reach all the way into number 4, positive expectation or belief. Those kind of thoughts would sound like, I know that my body is strong and can kick these allergies. I've been hydrating well. I've been eating lots of antioxidant-rich fruits and my leafy green veggies. My body is really set up in the best way to handle these allergies. I bet that I will feel better tomorrow. And then you can just keep climbing up this emotional scale if you want to, all the way into joy or knowing. You don't always, depending on what challenge you're kind of going through, you might not always reach that very top. You might feel very good. Like for me, that was enough just to kind of get into that range of like positive expectation, belief, kind of chill me out, feeling okay with the situation that was going on, feeling good about my day. That was enough for me today. That was a good place for me to be. The most important thing that I really want you to get from this exercise, from this tool, is that the thoughts that you think directly impact your emotion or how you feel emotionally. So I'll say that one more time. The thoughts that you think, because we think a lot of thoughts throughout the day. I know I am a very busy bee in my mind. So the thoughts that you think directly impact your emotion or how you feel emotionally. And you have control over the thoughts you think. Sometimes we believe that our thoughts are just kind of randomly running through your head, and I can definitely get stuck in the thought pattern where I keep looping around to the same thoughts over and over again. But they're really never out of your control. You can really always reach for another thought. And that's really what this guidance scale is for, because sometimes when you're in anger or rage or pessimism or depression, you can't reach for a thought of like optimism or joy or creativity or bliss or love. That is just so far-fetched. You're like, oh, give me a break. So that's what this emotional guidance scale is for. So when you're, all the way down in despair, you might only be able to reach up for fear, but realizing that from depression, fear is actually a good step to take. Usually, fear is not such a great feeling, but it might just feel better than depression. So that's what the scale is all about. It's meant to take you one step at a time up this emotional scale. So yeah, that would be our summary and our tool for today. It's called the Emotional Guidance Scale. Originally, I don't really know who really came up with it. I've heard it from several different authors. Definitely the first place that I saw it was in Abraham-Hicks' book by Esther Hicks, and I will definitely put that link below. I've adopted it slightly to fit my needs. Definitely adopt it to fit your needs. And the most important thing for today, for you to learn about this tool, is it is so important to always keep reaching for the best feeling thought that you can find. Because the thoughts that you think, and you think a lot of them all through the day, the thoughts that you think set up how you feel emotionally. And depending on how you feel emotionally, that's how you experience your day. That's the decisions that you make. That's the action steps that you take. They all hinge on how you're feeling and what you're thinking, what you're believing about yourself. So thoughts are incredibly powerful. So this is kind of our first little steps of how can I be more deliberate in guiding my own thoughts. All right, there we go. That's our wrap up for today for 55 days to go, and I will talk to you tomorrow.